That was Governor Doug Ducey late last year, shortly before he fired his hand-picked director of the Department of Economic Security, Tim Jeffries. Jeffries was dogged by questions about mass firings at the Social Welfare Agency and a report that he paid for alcohol for employees. Now Jeffries is telling his side of the story. Tim Jeffries, welcome to Sunday Square Off.
Good morning to you, Bram.
Let's get started. You said this was a, quote, manufactured crisis. You were the target of religious prosecution by reporters, and you were just following Doug Ducey's orders. What were Doug Ducey's orders?
Governor Ducey has been quite vocal about his desire to make government more efficient and to run it at the speed of business. He looked for all agency directors to reduce the size of their agencies and to weed out the worst 10%.
Now, you chuckled at that soundbite we played where the governor said, I'm going to find out exactly what the facts are. Why'd you chuckle?
The chuckle was rooted in the fact that I've never been privy to any of these reviews, never been privy to any of the allegations. I was never interviewed. I was never asked to rebut or respond to any allegations. Everything took place in the Arizona Republic.
In the Arizona Republic, and you say in a document you provided to me before the show, you believe the reporters who were for the Republic were anti-Catholic. What grounds do you have to make that really serious charge?
The Arizona Republic is a liberal paper. They're hardwired to dislike a guy like me. They are anti-Catholic. They are anti-conservative. They're anti-business. They're pro-status quo. The status quo gives them an opportunity to rant and rail about any number of things. In the ferocious assault that they subjected me to over a multi-week period, within a few stories, they started referencing my faith, taking issue with my faith. And to many Arizonans, in the agency and beyond, the response was, oh, so now we're getting to what really irks them, a man of faith in government.
Okay, we'll get to that in a little bit, but here's a story that snowballed into the crisis, the firings. You fired 475 agency employees in less than 2 years on the job. You were well on the way to reaching what you said was the governor's goal of 770 firings by next year, I think, or the year after. After you were fired, the state offered to rehire 40 out of 267 DES workers that you sacked because they said the firings didn't follow best practices. You've been in business a long time. Doesn't that tell you they believed these firings could lead to lawsuits?
I would say that the Department of Administration's view of best practice is radically different than best practices in business. The fact exists, of the 475 people exited, only one sued, and she withdrew the suit. Only 2 took us to the personnel board. Both actions were sustained.
Why would they rehire, or why would they plan to rehire 40 people then?
It was a manufactured crisis. What was finally utilized to oust me was these HR issues, and so they had to rehire people.
Okay, so manufactured crisis. You were handpicked by the governor. You knew the governor before you were hired, correct?
Correct.
Who manufactured it and why? And why didn't the governor say, hang on, we're not going to fire this guy. This is all made up.
Multiple actors were involved. But first, let me point this out. On Thursday, October 20th, Kirk Adams, his chief of staff, asked me to resign. On Friday, October 21st, I took my case to the governor. He retained me. 10 days later, the governor issued a very strong statement of support for me. And at that point, the Arizona Republic doubled down in their attacks. And Kirk Adams, the governor's chief of staff, kept the governor's press team on the sideline. And so what took place over that brutal 33-day period was I bled.
Kept the press team on the sideline?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I mean, check any of the press, see if there's any support in defense of Director Jeffries from the governor's press team. There's none. There's zero.
Why didn't the governor stand up for you?
I'm not privy to any discussions that he had. I know he looks to Kirk Adams to run daily operations.
He had to have signed off on this, didn't he?
Ultimately, yes. He signed off the first time and then rescinded that. And in the end, obviously, he did sign off.